Already. Hello. How is everyone this morning? Thank you so much for joining. I can't tell yet how many people we have here, except that amazing Erin. Hello, Erin is here already waiting, as is Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Thank you guys so much. And thank you so much, Paige and Cara, for joining me this morning.
Thank you for asking.
Or
Excited.
this evening.
Yeah, it's like afternoon here. Yeah,
It still does my head in. Like, it's
it's so
still
weird.
like,
Yeah.
how? You're
Yep.
time traveling.
The international dateline is such a weird concept. Like I
It
know
really is.
it's logical. Like how else could you have like normal daytime, across different like hemispheres, but it's still weird.
Yeah, it makes sense, but in that way where you're like, it makes sense as an arbitrary concept, but when I'm
Right.
actually talking to people who are
Yeah.
still in Saturday night,
Yep.
what? The
It's like
future's not too
theoretically
bad,
I
by
get
the
it.
way. Yeah,
What's that?
the future's not too bad, by the way.
Good, good.
Here in Australia, anyway.
Yeah.
Hi, Crazy Mel. Off to bed, but popped in to say hello. Thank you so much for popping in to say hello. Hope you have a good sleep. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Brittany. So nice to have so many people here. Hi, Meredith. Can't stay just popping in to say hi. Hi. Thanks for popping in to say hi, all you lovely people. What is everyone doing / reading this morning? This evening?
Whatever time it is.
Whatever time
Um,
of day it is.
I have a couple options. So I'm halfway through The Legend of Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruschak, which is really good so far. This is a bind up. It's like middle grade horror. It's blurbed by R.L. Stein, so it's got a seal of
Ah,
approval.
yeah.
Um, but it's like two stories in one, and it's based on like Mohawk stories, which is very cool. The first one was very good, very creepy, so I might read that second one. I also have another very short book. I want to get to The Lightning Dreamer by Margarita Engel, which is a novel in verse about Cuba's greatest abolitionist, which I definitely don't know enough about, like abolition in countries besides the US. And I know it's like a very different, what would you say, like context. So I really want to get to this, and it'll be really quick because it's short and it's also in verse. Um, I also need to finish some like video stuff, so I might like finish that before I start reading. So I'll just like turn off my camera for a bit. But yeah, it's gonna
That's
be
fair
busy.
/ That's fair. Yes, lots going on. Well, hopefully we can have some nice sprinting and help you out with
Yes.
that. What about you, Paige? What will you be doing / reading / whatever?
Once I get myself to look more human, I need to film 3 videos today, and then I'm gonna catch up on the chunk along.
Oh yes, the
Yeah,
chunk along.
yeah.
How
I
are you
read.
going with it?
I managed to catch up 4 days yesterday, so only 5 more to go to be caught up. And it looks like I'm doing the monthly rather than going over the whole month rather than the
Yeah,
16 days,
fair enough. You had a very
because that's a
busy
lot.
beginning of your month.
I did. And then I don't know if you saw in the Discord, but I was waiting for the audiobook to come through on Libby. I had downloaded it on Audible years ago.
Oh.
Aha. And
Hmm,
and
hmm,
and it
hmm, hmm.
isn't there
It
anymore?
oh, it's still there. I could have started. I didn't need to be waiting.
Oh, I see. Oops.
Mm,
Oh
mm,
no.
That's all right. We realized.
You got there
So
eventually.
yeah, I'd like to get the video filmed before I start, and I'm also getting my watch later back to 0 because we've gone from 150 videos over that weekend, and now I'm down to 0, and then just this morning, so I've got 10.
Nice.
Nice. I've basically stopped putting things in watch later unless it's something that I'm like, I won't come back to this. Like, do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I have channels that I'm kind of like, oh, so and so just posted a new video. I'll come back and watch that, like, at some point, and I just know because
Yeah.
I think like that's a person that I, but I have like particularly ones that YouTube recommends that I'm maybe not subscribed to, but I think, oh, that sounds like an interesting topic, or something that's like Murphy Napier, who puts up videos like 7 times a week or something. I'm like, I'm never going to find this one specific video again. So I put those in, but otherwise I'm just like, I'm just going to go, I just scroll through my feed every day and like watch what I feel like watching at the time, because otherwise I'm the same. I just get so stressed about my watch later. I'm like, oh God, I have to watch all these people.
Yeah, it was just funny not having time to watch it because driving to Sydney for wedding at the very beginning of the month when my favorite videos are coming out, which are TBR videos. I was like, why do I like watching this so much?
And especially if you watch lots of TBR games, you can't just have them on and listen to them, because you kind of got to
it's more yeah. But we got there, so feeling good.
Yay, well done. Very impressive. I'm reading The Dragon Keeper, which isn't technically on my TBR, but the second one accidentally was on my TBR. So on my TBR game, I accidentally held up and like was like, I'm going to read this. Like, and it was the second one, and I just totally didn't register that it was. So I'm reading the first one because that makes more sense. Oh no, we've lost Paige. She's like, no, you're too silly for me.
I just saw Ash walk past, and I don't think he wants to deal with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right and early.
That's fair. But I'm also thinking I might edit my next video as well. Because, I'm sitting here in front of a computer. I might as well.
Right.
Yeah. What is everyone else doing? Please let us know in the comments. Brittany, 7:30 p.m. here, reading The Confessions of Franny Langton. Another book I don't think I've heard of. Is it good? Are you enjoying it? Reading You, Me, and Our Heartstrings by Melissa C. Ooh. Joanne's moving books. We moved to Bookhouse yesterday and then reading The Dragon Republic. Nice. Still doing morning routine stuff, and then I'll be doing some editing. Yay! Nice. Jacoby by William Ritter. Ooh. Also, hello, good morning. Or evening, or whatevs. I don't think I've heard of that one either. I'm assuming it's about the Jacoby.
It's like I've read the first one. It's like a paranormal mystery series that's like historical. I liked it. I need to continue that series, so this is a good reminder.
Okay, cool.
I just quickly Googled it, and the tag is Sherlock Holmes crosses with Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay, I like the sound of that.
I thought
that sounds pretty cool.
That sounds like your cup of tea. And the covers are stunning.
Mm-hmm.
They're like a silhouette with of a person's face, and then they've got like something happening in it.
Ooh, nice. I'll have to look it up. Does sound very like me, doesn't it? Thank you, Butterflies and Books. I will be researching that and adding it to my ever-growing list of books I will read at some point in my life.
Someday.
One day. I'm putting off watching a lot of the booktube videos I'm most excited to watch because I'm like, oh, I need to concentrate on this. Yep. I understand. I tend to, depending on what they are, I will often listen to them in the car when I'm driving, or watch them while I'm cooking. So they're on like the big screen in the kitchen, but I'm not focusing all my attention on them. Because I kind of figure if people are doing a wrap up, I don't really need to be focusing all of my visual attention on their faces. It's more about what they're saying. So that's my theory. Yeah.
And it's like if something twigs and you're like, oh, I want to listen to that, you can just go back and rewatch it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like I need to see the cover of this, so I'll remember. Yeah, exactly. So I have got another magic bookstore in the woods because I was using that the other day when I was doing some sprinting, as like a background, some nice music and wood sounds. Everyone seemed to enjoy that. So I thought we'd have that in the background, and then I just do a banner thing to say how long
Sounds
we'll
good.
be sprinting for. How long does everyone want to sprint?
If Paige and I are gonna start by filming, maybe like
That's true.
I don't know. How long do you usually
Often I do like
need?
45 minutes.
Okay, I think that sounds good. What do you think?
That works for me. I am more than likely going to start with making a tea.
That's an important step. Important step for filming.
Fair enough. Well, what if we did sprint until 0:30 and we start in like 3 minutes, and then it's a full 45 minutes.
Sounds
Setting
good.
all that up. Awesome. Is everyone happy to be doing that? I'm going to assume that the lack of no's in the comments and the enthusiastic nodding from my co-hosts means yes, let's do that thing.
Woo!
Woo! Things and stuff.
And things and stuff.
Yeah. Tracy says, yep.
We have a yep.
We have a yep. Erin says yes, but I don't think of being able to go back and rewatch. I'm just like, oh, this will have books I'll need to make note of. Can't watch it right now. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah. It's one reason I basically always have a Goodreads tab open when I'm watching stuff on my computer. Like I never close it because I want access to it at any time because I never know when I'm gonna want to add something to our eternal TBR list.
Yes. The eternal TBR.
Which is like the best problem and the worst problem.
I know, right? It's like, oh no, I'm so upset that hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. No, I'm not. Yeah. I said to Rowan, so I met up with Meredith yesterday, which was super fun. And I said to Rowan, I'm meeting up with another booktube friend. And we're going to go book shopping because what else do you do when you meet up with booktube friends? So I might be coming home with books, even though technically I've already said like 4 times this month that I'm going back on my book buying slowdown. And he was like, what is new about that? Like,
it's fine. Just
why do you specify that you're going out with a booktube friend? So you go out with Michelle, you come home with a book. You go to do the grocery shopping, you come home with a book. Like, shut up! Stop calling me out. But he ordered books. He ordered books in the other day, and he went shopping and bought books last week. So I don't feel that bad about it.
Yeah.
Can't help myself. Just put a hold on Jackby at the library. Nice. I can double tap on the back of my phone, take a screenshot. So I use that a lot. Ooh, I'm watching on my phone. That's good. My camera roll is full of people holding up books.
Mine does not do that.
Mine doesn't do that either. That would be really cool. But mine doesn't do that either.
That would be helpful.
It would be helpful. Yeah. That's okay. I probably don't need my phone to be full of people's photos of people holding up books. Sometimes when my nephew comes to visit, he likes to look through my photos. I can just imagine him being like, "Who's this person?" And I'm trying to explain, and he's like, "Doesn't make sense." Like,
yeah.
All right, so it is 1:45 now. Let's start our first sprint. I will just get myself organized. I mean, I'm mostly organized, but let's just get that in this background. All right. Happy reading, everybody. Hello, everybody. How did we go? Let me just stop the banner I've got there.
I was able to finish my filming, so excited about that. And I actually got almost 50 pages into The Lightning Dreamer because, like I said, it's going to read really fast. And I'm liking that a lot so far. So, very productive sprint for me.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Hi, Nina.
Hello. I don't think that I have ever seen you on my sprints before, Nina. Thank you so much for joining. And I was actually about to say to everybody that is here, if you have not subscribed to myself or anyone else that is amazingly joining me hosting today, please do so. Cara and Paige's details are in the description below, and of course you are currently on my channel, so you know how to do the thing. But yes, that would be awesome if you could subscribe to all the people that you see. So yes, Cara had a very successful reading sprint. We do have a private chat from Paige saying that she had to go and drop Ash at work, and to feel free to just continue sprinting if she's not back in time to say howdy. So, which is fair enough, but she's coming back. I had a very successful sprint, although I have to say I'm always like surprised when I do these sprints and I do editing because I always if I kind of when I'm doing it, I'm not kind of aware of the time. I don't realize how long I'm taking to do editing, and then when I do something like a 45-minute sprint, and I think, well, the raw footage of this video is like 18 minutes long, so it shouldn't take me
Yeah.
very long. Nope, still haven't finished. Been 45 minutes. I mean, I did walk away from the screen for a few, a little minute and stuff, but still.
But I know it's like I have to remember that like it's the editing time, but it's also like the video itself, you have to watch through it so many times as you're editing stuff. Like I do the same thing. I always like way underestimate how long I spend editing something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I always and I tend not to do this with my blogs because they're probably the longest videos that I make. But any other video, I always want to watch it through once, like completely before I upload it, just to make sure I haven't missed something.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, and then that just adds extra time to.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway, the it's not like my life is terrible. Oh no, I have to I have to watch myself. Actually, it is a bit weird. I have to watch myself talk about the books I already know all about because I read them already. But yes. Anyway, so I'm loving the fact that Brittany and Jane have organized a buddy read for themselves.
I love
That is so cool. These guys are. I'm assuming you guys are reading this for Camp Crystal Lake. So Cara, I don't know if you know Barb's Bookland, the channel Barb's Bookland. She and Paige and a bunch of different people are hosting a readathon this month, which is yet another Halloween style readathon, and it's all based around different. What's it based around? Different movies, like scary movies and stuff. So that's why we were talking about Buffy at the beginning before we went live, because one of the camps is Camp Sunnydale, and there's group books and different things like that. And yeah, so the group book for, I think it's Crystal's one, Camp Haddonfield, is my sister's exorcism. So I'm assuming that is why Jane was like, hey, are you starting this book yet? Why don't we start this book together? But yes, correct me if I'm wrong, lovely people, but yes, that is what I am assuming was going on there. And also, apparently, this book is her life. Are you talking about my best friend's exorcism? Because I'm concerned.
It's a little worried.
Unless you mean because it's set in the 80s, in which case, fair. Not that I've read the book. That's like almost the entirety of what I know about it is that it's set in the 80s, who wrote it, and that it features an exorcism of some description. Hello, Amy. Wearing sign triple or double tap if you're someone that. Oh, okay. That is talking about Erin before we went was talking about how she can screenshot from the back of her phone while she's filming. Thank you, Amy. That is a good thing to be aware of as well. I do not have a pop socket, so that would not be a problem for me, except that I also don't have an iPhone 12, so it's not relevant to me at all. And hello, by the way. We use this last 10 minutes to work out what I'm reading next and report back. Awesome. Excited to hear. And yes, we have been joined by the lovely Nina. Thank you so much for joining us. 37 pages. Yay. 55 pages. That's awesome. 36 pages. That's awesome also. Move stacks of books now to start the mountain of shelves. Yay.
Takes longer than you think.
Yep. I feel like that's like being a reader in general. Like reading a book takes longer than you think. Doing the whole booktube filming thing takes longer than you think.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mel. That's the tagline for everything we do.
It takes longer than you think. But it's worth it.
Yes.
In the long run. It didn't get much done. Currently having snugs on the couch with Libby and Adrian. Aww, that's nice.
I love that. I say
That's
snugs
nice.
too. I like that other people do that.
That's really cute. But Rowan and I say snuggles. but we don't tend to shorten it to Snugs.
I usually say Snuggles, but once in a while I just feel like
it's a little snuggle. It's a snug.
Cute. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm getting some snugs with my kitty. Like,
It's so cute. In case you haven't noticed, I moved locations also because I moved into the lounge room where there are 3 cats.
yes.
And a heater because it's actually quite chilly. In the middle of October, it is 10 degrees. Thanks, Tasmania. But yes, I mostly moved. You're checking out what temperature you are at?
Oh my gosh. Okay. 50 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's because you guys are heading into spring, right?
We're
Or
heading
you're
into
theoretically
spring,
already
yeah.
in spring.
Well, yeah, we're theoretically already in spring. I live
Yeah.
in Tassie, like which is the far south of, it's like the island at the bottom of the island of Australia. So yes, which I feel like
Yeah.
I've just suddenly realized I probably said that all to you before. But anyway, it's a lot colder here than.
Yeah. We also are having like unseasonable season weather. Because I'm in the northern hemisphere for people who don't know, and it's October, so we're like pretty much in the middle of fall, and it's still like 70 Fahrenheit, which is like 21 Celsius. So it is like pretty warm. Like I'm in a tank top because
Yeah,
it does not
you
feel
look like you. Yeah,
October.
I feel like we should be swapped. Like,
Yeah. It's like,
I'm in spring. I should be 21, and you.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, lovely! Don't you love global warming? Anyhow, but yes, I had to move mostly because the cats were in the lounge room. I started out in the bedroom because Rowan was watching YouTube on the big screen, and I was like, "Mom, maybe instead of moving Rowan, I'll just move me since I'm, doing a laptop." But anyway, but yes, snuggles and snugs are very much fun. I'm glad you are enjoying that. Found this via Cara's Twitter. Yay! Thanks, Cara.
You're welcome.
I am 50 pages behind on a buddy read, so I'm here at 1:30 a.m. Oh my goodness. That is very, very what's the word I'm looking for? That's very dedicated. Thank you. That is literally the word I was looking for. Thank you. I would be like, oh, it's got to the end of the day and I'm tired and I want to go to bed, but I haven't read 50 pages of this buddy read. That's guess what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just no. Very dedicated of you. I'm very impressed. What are you buddy reading? I hope you are enjoying it. 5 pages of Winter Orbit. Yay! Yes, I'm always think I can finish editing in one sprint, and that rarely happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Exactly. Oh no, my reading buddy apparently hasn't started the book yet, so I can relax. Also, Cara, please tell me you're reading the Sinister Summer series. I think you'd love it if you'd be willing to give Kirsten White a second chance.
Okay, Nana, you've sold me because I was thinking I might want to try that one because I tend to really enjoy creepy middle grade books. It does compare it to Series of Unfortunate Events though, and that's not like I really enjoyed those as a kid, but that's not generally the kind of middle grade I like now. But I'm gonna add it. You've convinced me.
Good job, Nina.
Good job, Nina.
You've talked her into it.
Yes.
Is Kirsten White the person that wrote the Guinevere Deception series? Yeah.
And she writes a lot of different genres, which I think is cool. Like I read the first 2 Guinevere books, which I really liked, and I've also read And I Darken, which is like the Vlad the Impaler like gender swapped book. I read the first book in
Yep.
that. Yeah. Which wasn't like my thing, but I would definitely try other stuff from her. And she also wrote like Illusions of Fate, which is like a fantasy book. So she does a lot of different stuff, which is cool.
Okay. I feel like she most recently wrote one that's kind of flopping though, didn't she? Like she wrote, was it Hyde that she did? Is that the one that's really flopping on BookTube at the moment? I don't know where else. Like other people might be loving it, but on our little corner of the book world, yeah. It's full moon, so I'm not sleeping anyway.
No, are you a werewolf?
I am currently locked away in my basement reading a
Right.
book.
Yep.
I'm glad that you're like okay with the fact that you're awake specifically reading this book, because it's your buddy read, only to find out that the person has not read any
Yeah.
of it. I'm glad you're okay with the fact that like you're up and you're like, oh, I wouldn't be asleep anyway, because that would really annoy me if I was like, I specifically stayed awake to read this book, and now you're not even reading it. God damn it.
Same.
I'm reading the second book in Sinister Summer with Julia from Shakespeare and such, and it's funny and weird. We like weird. Yes, I'm nee werewolf. Her Elizabeth Frankenstein book looks intriguing. Love Frankenstein retellings.
I have a lot of friends who really love that one.
Okay. I did like the look of the only ones that I know she's written are the Guinevere ones and Hyde. And I did really like the look of the Guinevere ones, but I just didn't get around to doing anything about it. But yeah, and then I've seen so many bad reviews of Hyde that I'm just like, oh no, I don't know.
I know a couple people who like went into Hyde with like really, really low expectations because of how much people are disliking it, and then were pleasantly surprised. So
Okay.
I think it's one like it seems like the marketing wasn't super effective for what the book
Mhm.
actually was, which is always hard because it's like it's not the author's fault, but it also doesn't change your experience with the book, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think saw a couple of people saying that it was comped to something else that was a million times better as that
Yes.
type of
Yeah.
book, and then but
Yeah.
and I guess if you are hello, we're just talking about Kirsten White and unfortunate marketing
Yeah.
of books, incorrect marketing of books.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially because from what I've heard, the author almost never writes the synopsis of their own book. So it's like,
Yeah.
that kind of sucks. It's like you might be really hurt by somebody else's like explanation of your book and like you had nothing to do with it. But
Which is really stupid because in order to get published in the first place, you have to have written a synopsis.
yeah, like
Like,
don't
why can't they
understand.
just use that?
I don't understand why it works this way. Like,
I guess they want marketers to do it because they're like, this is one of the things that people,
Trendy
Yeah.
buzzwords
make the
and
choice.
right,
Yeah.
like they're thinking of it like a sales perspective, like what it's going to get people to pick it up, which I guess
Yeah.
I understand, but also like not great
no.
marketing if the wrong people find your book. You know, like if somebody
Exactly.
who doesn't actually think they're going to like it, it's just weird.
Yeah. And I think that's what seemed to have happened with this book is
Yeah.
that, it got comped to a couple of the books that actually isn't that similar to. And
Yeah.
so people pick it up thinking, oh my God, I love this book. This is going to be amazing. And then they're like, well, that was shit.
Yeah. It's like I try not to pay attention to comp titles too much, which is funny because I just mentioned one for the Sinister Summer series. But like in general, I try not to take those at face value because like they can be so misleading, or they can, even if they're not misleading, they just give you certain expectations. And I understand why they do it because it is a really quick and easy way to communicate like things about a book. But I wish that wasn't like such a primary focus of marketing, you know? Like I think that's one of the reasons too that like people say like, oh, like all these books are the same. It's like, well, they're not, but they're all being sold the same way. So you're
Mm,
thinking that they're the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Although in my wrap up for September, I just was like, though I read Amari and I comped it to Nevermore and Harry Potter. Although I did say I think it's better than Harry Potter, but still,
Yeah.
like,
I think that kind of comp is different. Or if you're like, I've heard a lot of people say like, if you're looking for a middle grade fantasy series that's not Harry Potter, here's one you can look at. So
yeah, that's true.
You can argue that, as readers, we're looking for particular kinds of tropes that are
yes,
across the board. But when marketers see that we're picking up these books with these particular tropes, they're like, oh, this is the same as this, even though it could be fundamentally different. Just because it's set at a magical school does not mean that it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But because that's the only way that they know how to do it, because they're looking for the key things that are going to sell. It's like, cool, I can see this parallel, so this is Harry Potter, and this is whimsical but it has the whimsical vibes of Nevermore.
Yeah.
Like, it's the school fantasy element of Harry with the whimsical of Nevermore.
Yeah.
But if people don't like whimsical fantasy, they're not going to like Amari as much if they think it's more school urban based.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I think that's such a good point, Paige. And I think too, like, if they're using, like, if they're interpreting people liking certain tropes as they liked it because of this comp title, like, people might enjoy a book for really different reasons. Like, not everybody who compares something to a particular book is like thinking the same thing. Like, there's actually been a lot of times where there's a couple of comp titles that I pay attention to more than others, because like I said, I try not to put too much stock in those, but there's a couple that I do notice, and there's actually a couple where it's like it's an instant turnoff for me if a book is compared to that, which is obviously not what the marketers intend, but it's one of those things where, like, if you assume that everybody who likes historical fantasy likes The Bear and the Nightingale, then if I see something compared to Bear and the Nightingale, which I didn't like, I'm like, maybe this is not for me, even if what they're saying is that it does like different parts of that, you know? Like, they're just assuming that everybody pulls out the same like tropes from a book, and that's not what people
do. Is it Nene?
Nana is
Nana. Is just mentioned the trend of graphics with the cover and the prompts, like by a main character, only one better. I love those. And I know people got so shitty the other week. They were like, why is this? It's so stupid. I'm like, no, it's perfect. I want to know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
I
and
love
if
that.
it has buy, I'm there. That's all I need.
I love that trend. I couldn't believe that was like a point of contention recently. I'm like, this is brilliant marketing. Like, what's like, why are you mad about
People just get so weird about, but it's like
no one's ever
going
to be pleased.
No one's never exactly. But it's one of those things though as well. If it's like, are you annoyed because it's got tropes that you don't like? Because surely that's actually more helpful anyway for you, because then you can avoid it.
Yeah. It's doing its job.
Like,
why do you hate this specific thing when it's literally helping you not buy a book you will not like? Gotcha.
Yep.
This is the arc for Only a Monster.
Yep.
Like,
that's a really clever
big
idea.
guy with a cute dog.
Especially as an arc, because that's reviewers. Like, it's being sent to reviewers, it's not being sent to the general public. So you don't want to waste your time as a reviewer. And you don't want to be like, hi, I reviewed this book, which I really shouldn't have read because it probably is really good, but I am a terrible, it's not my thing, and I shouldn't have read it because I should have, if I'd known it was all the tropes I hate,
right,
maybe wouldn't have wasted everybody's time.
Yeah. And then, you know, especially like, say, for Only a Monster, that's a biracial own voices representation, which is marketed on the front. So people know that going in. And then if it's like the tropes that you don't like, you don't have to pick it up. And then it's not going to get the negative association as much. Like, it still could just be a really shit book. I haven't read it. But you know, if you know going in that it's like, oh, okay, so the antagonist is like Captain America, ew, I hate that, I'm just going to avoid it, then there's less likelihood of getting the negative and connecting.
Yes, and also the negative is more genuine then, because if people are reading it because it's exactly what they're looking for and they don't like it, then it's
and
like,
it doesn't build them up.
This actually just isn't a very good book, as opposed to I read the wrong book. Yes. Not even tempted to read Hard. I've heard so many bad things. Sucks she got screwed over with marketing. Yeah, that's really annoying. because
That's true.
I've been the same. I'm like, well, I'm not going to read that. That sounds terrible, but maybe I will
See,
if in fact it's that everyone got told the wrong thing.
I wouldn't read it because I'm not like into creepy carnival settings. That's
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. Just got the first Amari. I only comp Nevermore to Harry Potter when I want to discuss how it feels to read it. You know how it has the one just. Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing with Amari. I was kind of like, if you
But you
like,
also explain it. Yeah.
yeah. If you like these settings, but I actually my nephew recently, his parents started reading Harry Potter to him, and I was like, he was all excited, telling me, "Oh, my dad's reading me Harry Potter," and like he was loving it. It's like, oh, that's awesome! You should read Nevermore.
Love it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't they didn't follow through with that one, but yeah,
Maybe
Eventually.
eventually.
one day, yeah.
They'll get through it.
They're not that alike, but there's definite things parallels that I think if what draws you in about Harry Potter potentially could draw you in about Nevermore. But yeah. I hate it when there's gay YA being compared to Love, Simon when the only thing in common is that it's a gay YA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. It's very cool. I feel like there are things that need decoding, like Get Out meets blah. Just seems to mean horror by a black author, and Lord of the Flies meets blah means survival, not what it's actually about. That's true as well. Yeah,
Accurate.
definitely. I didn't think Love, Simon Versus was that good. I have not seen nor read, so I can't comment.
I liked it. It definitely was more hype than anything, and I feel like you've got better gay YAs out now.
Right. I think it was one of the like first really, really popular like contemporary romances that had a gay romance as the main thing. So I think that was
in YA for kids to
right
actually
in
read.
YA. Yeah. So it is like important, but I haven't read it either.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that it was highly needed at the time and therefore really important and probably spoke to a lot of people. But now if you're going in, you might like if you're foraying into that sort of reading area now, you might not want to worry about it.
There's other things you could read alongside.
Yeah.
And it's like any other book where it's going to work really well for some people and not others. Like I had already been reading and loving middle grade and middle grade fantasy for a while before I picked up Nevermore. Nevermore is not my favorite middle grade fantasy, but I love that it's getting people into middle grade fantasy, you know? So like I think there's a tendency when there's like a really high profile book to represent a certain kind of book, it's like people can sometimes think, well, if I didn't like this, then I don't like these books.
Yeah.
And it's still just one, you know?
Yes.
Like it obviously works for a lot of people, but just because you don't like it doesn't mean you'll never find one that you do.
Yeah.
It's like,
absolutely.
I don't like Game of Thrones. I've just come to accept this. And I was saying all the time, like, I put my ratings up higher because I felt that I should, but I just don't like stabby stab. I prefer actual, like, discussions.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this just isn't my thing. But I still enjoy Robin Hobb. I still enjoy Raymond E. Feist. I still enjoy high epic fantasy, just not Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Because, again, like, Game of Thrones is not the be-all and end-all of high epic fantasy. Yeah.
So,
I don't really pay a lot of attention to tropes, but in general, if I can be so boiled down to a simplistic trope, will turn me off regardless.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I feel like that's more of like a review thing or a synopsis thing than like a problem with the book. But yeah, it's like if that's the only thing someone says about it, it can feel like that's the only thing it has going for it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we were talking about with marketing. It's like that description is not representative of the book necessarily, but like you can't argue somebody out of hearing those descriptions, you know?
No, exactly. But it's not really about that. You should read it anyway.
Yeah.
I prefer to go into a book blind anyway, so I don't really look up tropes comps. That's fair enough. Yeah.
I think
I've been pushing everyone on my nephew Mel. Glad I'm not alone.
I think it's also like interesting being in the sort of the space that we're in, where we're constantly hearing about books and trying to figure out the balance between wanting to say too much and not saying enough. And I know that I definitely don't say enough in my videos. I'm like, I'm excited for this because it's gay. And that's it. That is the entire synopsis that I am providing to you for this. Like,
Yeah.
but I've pushed Katie Robert onto so many people and I haven't really described it aside from monster smut or mafia style with Greek inspirations. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
I think
Well, like sometimes
BookTube,
that works. Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
I was just gonna say I think BookTube is niche enough, and then like certain genres / authors like Katie Roberts are niche enough that it's kind of almost like if you know what Paige is talking about, that
You
will
good.
be enough for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
don't, then probably Katie Roberts isn't for you.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's like you never know what is going to be what like sells somebody on a book. Like that's one of the reasons why even though book hauls periodically get a lot of hate, I feel like one of the cool things about book hauls is like if somebody's talking about what made them actually go and get a book, whether it's from a library or like buying it or whatever, like sometimes someone will mention like, "Oh, and it has this trope in it." And it's like I have heard like 12 different people review this book and nobody mentioned this trope and it's like my favorite trope. Now I'm going to read that book. It's like sometimes just hearing that little like snippet, it might be something that you hadn't gotten somewhere else and that's what like interests you, you know? And especially with like anticipated releases, it's like sometimes there'll be like a whole long synopsis that interests me and sometimes it's like I just heard like historical fantasy and like this trope and I'm like I'm going to read that,
Yeah.
you know? It's all it takes sometimes.
Sometimes I find that all it takes is the particular person saying it as well. Like,
Yeah.
especially with those more popular books, I kind of feel like because you hear about them all the time from everyone, it's kind of like, okay, this is just a popular book. Oh, wait, they like it? I might like that then. You know, it's almost like I don't care about it until that person likes it.
Yeah. I don't know why, but that just made me think of that line from Mean Girls where that girl's like, I saw Katie Heron wearing army pants and flip flops, so I bought army pants and flip flops. That image was just recommending books.
In a
Like,
meme.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
With the prompt thing, if I had known Frosthat wouldn't have fished out by now. That's interesting. Yeah,
and
it can work the other
to
way
mention
too.
it as music.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, interesting.
And that's funny because that is something I specifically enjoy, and so now I'm more interested in Frostheart. Like, tropes are weird. Like,
there you go. It is weird. Yeah. Sorry, my robot vacuum cleaner just turned itself on. So if you can hear weird
I can't
noises,
hear it. So
yeah, it's not in this room yet, but eventually it'll come into this room.
It will make its way.
It will make its way. More particularly about high fantasy, I want it to be either want it to be YA or I want it to be a non-Euro setting.
I feel like there's a lot of like adult high fantasy that coasts on just assuming that you'll think it's better because it's adult, you know, without having the stuff to back it up. I feel like that happens sometimes.
Yeah. That's interesting.
There it is.
That would be me if I had a channel, Gay Books and All the Smut. Do it, Amy. Do it. That's your channel name. Gay Books and All the Smut.
Gay Books and All the Smut.
I love it.
All it takes is this was really weird, too weird for me. I'll pick up a book.
And see, I know that about Erin, so I keep my ear out for that now. And then be like, have you heard of this? Not that I've done it recently, but
or
like, oh, okay, that's an Erin book.
Yeah, it's like sometimes somebody will say something that's a criticism, like one that gets me, they're like, I don't really know what genre this is supposed to be, or like, I don't know what age range this fits in, and I'm like, perfect. I love that weird crossover. Like,
yep, definitely. Jane 100% agrees. This has been yelled at you, so you really have to. Read Frost Out. There's a grumpy Yeti called Tobu, and he's the love of my life. Yeah, Tobu's awesome.
I love Tobu.
I think isn't that what like a journey book? I feel like that was one of the things that made me hesitant, but sometimes I like them. So I don't know. Maybe Nana, this is the live show or the sprint where you just like convince me to pick up
all
like
the books.
and Page too.
It's super cute, and I mean, I don't know how much this would make anyone want to pick up a book, but Gavin named his kittens after the two main characters, or two of the main characters. Yeah. I just cackled over potential channel name. Yeah. I love it. Yes.
This is so cute. I forgot how adorable the illustrations are.
I haven't got around. I'm so bad. I haven't got around to reading book number 3, and it's nearly a year since you sent it to me. I just have to do it. Except that I've lent it to someone.
Oh, well, that explains why you haven't got to it.
Well, I lent it to them because I lent the first one to them, and then I was like, a friend of mine, a friend of ours, little boy, and he just devours books. So I was like, well, I'm not going to read this month, but yeah, I need to get it back.
I just realized I don't own the third one. Do I? I have to.
You got it on. You read it as an arc, so maybe you never picked up the.
Oh, that's all right. Because I'm looking at my rainbow shelf and I've got blue and then the second one in green, and I'm like,
where's the third one? Should be in red. Where is it?
But I've got the Wizard of Wands in purple, green, orange, and yellow and red. What? Where is First Time 3?
There you go. Now you know. You need to get the.
I need to
third
go.
one
Actually,
in...
yeah, I do.
You do. Have you read Our Shadows Have Claws, Erin? That illustration you showed, Paige, reminded me of the Kitsen from Skyward. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love Kitsen. They're so cute. There you go. Another book for TBRs for those who are of the opinion that if it's just very weird, they should read it. So we've been chatting for quite some time. Enough time for Paige to go away and come back again. Should we do some more sprinting?
Yes.
Do we want to do another 45 minutes? Go until 10:02?
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. And then you won't have to hear my robot back McLeaner when he eventually makes his way. That is not correct. When he eventually makes his way into the lounge room. I don't know why I personify my vacuum cleaner and call it he, but apparently that's what I do.
It's fun.
All right. Is everyone happy to keep going with Iroh's bookstore?
Yes, I like it.
Awesome. Ooh, interesting. All right, guys, happy reading. Hi. Hi. Oh, we lost Paige. She'll be back, I'm sure.
Hello.
Hello. I've taken my headphones out, which probably means you can hear the robot vacuum cleaner a lot more clearly now.
That's okay.
So sorry about that. But anyway, how did everyone go?
Good. I got another chunk read, so I'm like almost halfway into this.
Wow.
Yeah, it reads really fast, and I'm enjoying it. I feel like Margarita Engel picks really interesting things to do her novels about. This is like the second or third thing I've read from her, and she likes to do like historical periods that and like settings that aren't like taught as much, at least in like American school systems. So really enjoying it.
Cool.
And I was
Did you
just
say
doing various
Margaret?
things on my computer.
Fair enough. Did you say Margaret Lee Engel?
No, Margarita Engel, not Madeline
Oh,
Engel. I know, kind of
yes.
similar name, but
That's what I thought. I was getting mixed up.
yeah.
Yeah, and thought you were talking about the same author that wrote all the other stuff she wrote, Madeline
Right.
L'Engle.
Right.
Anyway, hello, you're back. Welcome back.
My camera just
Oh no.
yeah, I just closed
Oh,
out of everything.
no.
But all good, I'm back.
You're back. Yay! Oh, I just realized that I need to turn the banner off. There we go. Sorry. Yes. Hello. Oh God, I've totally lost track of what I was about to say. Sorry, everybody. Cara is reading a lot of her book. She's read almost half of the book, which is very exciting. I am currently I'm not doing it. My computer is currently uploading my video for Wednesday, so that's exciting. Which means I get it all done. Yay!
Yay.
And then I'm thinking I might actually start reading again.
Exciting.
I did read some this morning when I first got up, so it's not like I haven't read it yet today. But it would be nice to do some reading on my reading sprints. I know. What? Shock of the century. And apologies again to anyone that may hear the robot vacuum cleaner in the background. But you got to do what you got to do. How are you going, Paige? What have you been doing?
Good. I got halfway through filming my wrap up.
Yay!
Because I also did some other stuff as well. And then I was like, I don't want to move my chair, so I'm just going to bring one of the dining room chairs in for
Yes.
the interim. Because, yes.
You're all set up and good to go?
Yeah, I have 4, and I realized that I forgot to actually grab one of the books, so it sort of worked out well. I've got 4 books to talk about. I just finished talking about I'm glad my mom died, and I'm literally like, okay, I'm going to shut up now because, yes.
That book sounds like really, really amazingly interesting and also absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to read it, but I'm very intrigued by it because it's just everywhere at the moment.
It's one thing that like I might edit it out of the video. I don't know. Haven't got that far yet. But one thing that's pissed me off is the fact that people focus on her revealing about Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider when that is not the main focus of the book. There is maybe 2 out of the 40 chapters that actually deal with that, and that's what's made it so sensationalized. It's oh my god, she's given the gas, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so yeah, that comes through a little bit. I don't know if I will edit that out or not, but the feelings are there.
I feel like you should keep it, but that's just my vote.
It's the same thing, but again, that's also just me being like, yes, keep all the angst. Do it, Paige.
But yeah, no, it's so, and it's mostly dealing with her relationship with her mother, which based off the title, you would think that would be the main thing.
Yeah, but also like people's lives are not just the one thing.
No,
so, like it's gonna have other stuff in it.
Yeah,
that's there. Yeah,
I feel like most of the people I've heard talking about it have focused mainly on like the relationship with her mother and like how that connected to the entertainment stuff. Not so much like, which is good. Like that's really irritating that there are people who are reducing it to like drama.
Yeah. I think it's just been like recently I've seen a couple more pop up and it's like, yeah, Nickelodeon. I'm like,
literally not the point.
Yeah.
Did you even read it?
Yeah. It's probably more, well, I don't know, maybe they did read it, maybe they didn't, but it sounds like it's almost more, potentially more that they've seen someone mention it and so they've just gone, oh!
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but if you'd read it, you'd know that's not the point.
Yeah.
But yes, anyway. But anyway, how did everybody else go? Tracy did not read. What did you do, Tracy, instead? Rachel is reading The No-Show. Hello, Rachel. Are you enjoying it? This is the book that I bought when I was staying with Rachel, because she kindly allowed me to stay with her when I had COVID and got stuck in Queensland. And I left it for her to read. So I'm very intrigued to see what she thinks of it. So it basically was like, I'm not going to read all the books that are in your lovely bookcase because I've just been breathing on them for
very thoughtful.
Yeah. So I'm going to go and buy this book that I can then read. And then I finished it and I was like, I'm going to leave this for you. You will enjoy it. But yes. Playing Fortnite. Very good. Lots of fun. 13 pages. Woo! I made some lunch. Yay! Lunch. Oh no. I may suppose yay because you got to do it at some point.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yes, we got you. It's cool. We knew you meant lunch. No reading, but room sorted, clean, so reading next spring. Yay! Awesome. I'm about 50 pages in as I started when the sprint started, but yes, happy to engage in the mystery and easy reading. Yeah, it's easy reading. I really, really enjoyed it. I still prefer the flat share, but it's my second favorite of her books.
I really enjoyed the flat share, so I want to read her other stuff too.
I've read the flat share, and I feel like I've read another one. The second one. What was the second one?
The road trip?
No, the one before that. Or was that?
The Switch.
Or is there? The Switch, that's the one. Thank you.
Well, I haven't read The Switch.
I actually just ordered that one, so I'm excited to read it.
Oh, yay. Exciting. I've read her other 3 books, so I'm definitely keen to read The Switch at some point. You know, on that never-ending TBR that we have. One day. Hi, Shari. 50 pages of Snow White with the red hair. Ooh, nice. Okay, I won. Now I can concentrate on being productive. Awesome. The No-Show is my favorite after the flat share. Yep, I agree with you, Tracy. Absolutely. So there you go, Rachel. I hope that I hope that you are enjoying it. You're happy to engage in the mystery, and I hope that all of us saying how amazing it was is gonna, encourage you to be excitedly reading more. whatever the hell that means. I read the page. It was really good. Yep.
I'm excited to see the movie.
Are they making a movie? I didn't know that. Oh, that is going to be so cute.
Yeah.
Who is starring?
No idea.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I've been seeing on Twitter, and I don't know how true it is. I've been seeing that they are making a movie of the Love Hypothesis, and that Adam Driver and Daisy Riley.
That would be so weird. Like,
yeah, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel like that's too meta. Like,
Yeah, that's a little.
That's a little weird. Although, having said that, when I was reading it, literally the only person I saw in my head as I was reading it was Adam Driver. I don't think the Olive character is described super so that it is obviously Daisy Ridley, but the Adam Driver characters, I was like, yeah, no, that's Adam Driver. There's no one else it could be. But yeah, that would be a bit weird. I don't know how I'd feel about that, but I don't know how true it is.
Oh, I think it might be a show. Sorry for the Fletcher.
Oh, cool.
I think that would work better.
yeah,
Being episodic.
Yeah,
Rather
definitely.
I agree.
And they can branch out quite a bit as well. And there's actually a lot more in that book than, like, you know, it's again marketed as.
I was just thinking, like, yeah, what we were talking about with like mismarketing is like I remember a lot of people being disappointed in it. Like a lot of people who read a ton of romance because they were like, I don't think this is actually a romance because of like this is what the book is actually about. And it's like that's one of the things I liked about it. Like I don't know. And it's you do kind of get the sense from the synopsis that like it's going to be dealing with some heavier stuff, but like the cute cover I think is confusing, you know? So it's like once again like the marketing doesn't always help people find the book.
Yeah. Well, all of her stuff are more I would say probably more like I hate the term because it doesn't
fiction.
it doesn't
Yeah, I hate that too, but that's what they use.
Yeah, but I would say more like that. And also even like the most recent one as well, the No Show, I thought almost read like a Leanne Moriarty. It was more of that kind of domestic suspense, but I mean not like thriller, but domestic suspense,
but more intrigue than
like
I always thought that she just fell under the litfic category. I never thought of them as romances, just with a romantic subplot. Technically it does count because they do have a happily ever after, but
right. And that is like arguably the main arc, but I think also because and I don't read nearly as much romance as some people I follow, so like I don't know what I'm talking about. But I feel like the Flatshare has like different pacing and timing of some of the stuff as like not that all romance does it the same way, but I feel like it's unusual for it to take so long for the romance to like happen, which I actually really liked. Like I really liked we had so much time with the characters. And I mean like Tiffy especially is really working through some very difficult things. And it would feel weird to me if like she jumped right into like a romance. So like I liked it. I mean, I guess I had the benefit of hearing people's expectations not being met, you know, so I kind of knew what to expect, but I think it's like what we were talking about, like things that don't fit neatly into a genre category are sometimes like just weirdly marketed. It's like the publishing doesn't know what to do with it, so they just like pick a label even if it doesn't really make sense. Like
yeah. And some labels like women's fiction just don't mean that much.
They don't mean anything. Yeah.
Like, I don't
like
think
it tells me nothing about what kind of story it is. It just tells me that you're kind of I don't know, being derogatory about the people who read it. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There is a particular market that you were intentionally aiming this towards.
Yeah.
That
sorry.
I should get Ash to read it and see what he thinks.
Sorry, I was about to say I'm about to be joined by a cat, and this is the cat that is like, if I'm not sitting literally across your chest, it is not a good enough snuggle. So you might be about to receive a cat butt in your face.
I support
That's
them.
fine.
Just
Hi,
so you
baby.
know. Actually, I can probably help everyone by grabbing the little side arm thingy that Rowan has made and put my computer there, and then the cat can sit on my lap and you don't all have to be staring at her bottom as much as you would have been. Oh, I've read that before, but yeah, that's funny. I like that. I've only read The Flight Show, but it's really good. Yes, agreed. I get it.
Yeah.
Jessica Brown Finlay as Tiffy. I don't know if I know who that is. But that's okay. I can look that up. A lower well-realized miniseries from a novel. Yes, definitely. Anthony Welsh as Leon, and he's an amazing actor who just happens to be very attractive. What you want. That's what you want.
Never hurts. Never hurts.
Here she goes. Women's fiction means the same kind of interior story that would be firmly literary fiction if it were by a man and about a man. Yes.
You're
That
right.
is such
It
a
would
good point.
it would win awards if it were about a man.
That is
Like,
such a good point. I had not thought about it.
how much you want to bet it'd be like a Man Booker finalist if it was about a dude? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that. Speaking of genre labels that are meaningless, literary fiction. Like it's a contemporary or it's a historical. Like you're not fancy just because he wrote it for a book award.
It's just
Like,
fiction.
it's just fiction. Like, I mean, I've read great literary books. Like, I'm not saying that
Oh, yeah.
all of them are bad, but like the condescension around it has just like completely turned me off to the point where it's like I basically avoid using that descriptor on my channel at all times now. Like, I just
Fair.
don't like it.
I think of literary fiction as being those sorts of novels, and again, it can fit into any, like, really any category. But those sorts of novels where it's much more focused on the writing than the plot or even the characters, and it's that kind of meandering, like Jessie Burton does it. Like we start with one thing and then we tell the
Yeah.
story. And Celeste Ng, I thought, did it as well. It's kind of like
Even those though, and like I haven't read Jessie Burton, but like I see those shelved a lot as historical fiction as well. Like I just think, like I've
feel
heard
like
the
they're
rating definition before, and I get that, but also like Anna Marie McLemore, for example, has a very distinct flavor of writing. Also, one of my favorite authors, and like their books are like very firmly magical realism. That's like always what they're marketed as. But in terms of like the kinds of stories, I feel like a lot of their books would be considered literary if they were written for adults, you know?
Yeah.
I sort of just try and I don't use literary fiction as like the main. I will break it down into it. It is a contemporary. It is a historical fiction. It is whatever. Like we use mystery, thriller, crime. Like why can't we just subdivide them a little bit more to actually provide a better categorization for readers to actually know what they're getting into? Like you don't have to divide your literary fiction in a bookstore into contemporary romance. Like that's no, that gets a little messy. But just being able to know that are the things that is grouped together, so then you can, if you look at something and you go, oh, okay, I'm interested in that, pick it up. Oh, it says historical fiction. Cool.
Yeah.
Like
as opposed to like it's nominated for an award and I'm like, I'm happy for the author. That tells me nothing about what this is about.
If anything, it tells me I'm probably not gonna like it.
Some of the award winners I've read have been like, really?
I wrote this book to win that award. That was
like they really, it's like people say like Oscar bait for a movie. Like there are some books that have very strong award bait energy. Like
yes. Okay, apparently I wasn't doing the snuggle correctly. So I am no longer allowed to be sat on by Pistachio.
You've been dismissed.
I have been dismissed. There's a very specific way, and it's like also when you are specifically at a computer, she would come and do that. Like, that's the thing that she does. You're a very funny little cat. Oh, Jessica Brown Finlay was Sybil on Downton Abbey. Okay. I like her. Cool. Nothing wrong with the cat. I have one headbutting at the iPad. I try to type. I've sat down with a book. Nice. I don't categorize things as literary. Most page books in any one genre. I like most. Yeah, some of speculative. Magic realism is generally more of subcategory of literary fiction anyway, because it's more of a writing device. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, hi! Hello! How are you going, Steph? What are you up to today?
Hope you recovered from the Romance Expo.
Yes, and enjoyed it also.
Yes.
Amy, yeah.
I actually wrote that's Booker. Yeah. Yeah. I always see like lots of people do those Booker. They specifically do the reading of them. I've seen like Lauren in the Books does it. Shah from Thoroughly Enjoyed Books has been doing it this year. And
KD.
Sorry?
KD's books does
Yeah.
it. Shelley Swearington, like
loads of people. And I just see loads of people saying that like basically nothing that gets into the final is something they personally think were worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never read, I mean, I'm sure I've read Booker Prize winners or Booker Prize nominees or whatever, but I never pay attention. I don't really care.
Like I know that there are people who really enjoy having that kind of like guided reading challenge and everything, but it's like the idea of like having a bunch of probably old white men decide like what the books are, like the best books of the year, and then like giving them to me. I'd be like, no, thank you. I think I'm better at knowing what I like than like you random people. Like I mean, obviously some people like them, but
yeah. I think I'd be more inclined, I still haven't done it, but I think I'd be more inclined to pick up the women's prize for fiction.
I was about to say the same. Yeah.
But even then, it's
a
like
little more range.
Oh God, what's her name? That wrote the
Margaret Atwood.
Yes, thank you, Jesus Christ. Margaret Atwood, like she writes a book and then that's obviously nominated and like half the time wins. And I've heard lots of people say that the one that won last time she was in it was like, yeah, I mean it's Margaret Atwood, so it's good, but actually the people that didn't win or didn't get placed had better books. Like it's still very much.
I also feel like the nominees that are, you know, more like diverse, you know, to use like the the easy word for it. It's like I feel like a lot of times, and I haven't followed the prizes very closely, so maybe I'm missing something. Feels like a lot of times they get nominated and maybe a couple will get to the finalists, but they never win. Almost never. Like there's only a couple times I can think of like one of their like the books they make a big deal about as like, look, we're diversifying our like our pool of winners, and it's like, well, they don't usually win. Like I don't know that it almost feels like they're trying to get like the bare minimum of like points for like including a book by like a black author or something. And then it's like that doesn't really mean anything if you feel like it never has a chance of winning, you know?
Yeah.
That's like with Atwood's The Testaments. That was a joint win with an author of color, I believe.
And I mean, it's Margaret Atwood, so it was probably well written. And in
Gavin hated it.
I've heard a lot of people didn't like it. Yeah,
I've heard that too.
They said it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't read it. I was like, I feel like I don't know because I haven't read it, but I feel like this is a cash grab. Like, this is I don't know what to do, but I need to write a book because I'm an author. So this is what I'm going to write, which I guess in some respects is fair.
Yeah.
And Shebas and Shelves, that is a good point. I wasn't specifically talking about the Booker. I was just like broadly generalizing, which I shouldn't have done. So that is true. Thank you.
Yeah.
They do listen.
I have noticed that panels are not as confined to one area anymore.
Good. Yeah.
Which is good, obviously.
Yes.
But I know what you mean. Like, in general terms, like, you don't necessarily mean that it is 100% only old white men, but it's that kind of thing where we have look at our token. person
Yeah.
of color or whatever. Yeah.
You've also, like, for me, I also really hate book awards that give off the air of elitism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I just,
Yeah.
that's not my vibe. I'm from a proud middle upper working class fam. Like, we
Yeah.
ain't, I'm privileged because I'm white and my family has done well for themselves, but they've worked hard. It's never been inherited.
Yes.
And it's just like, I see all this and I'm like, this does not sit
Yeah.
right with me. Like, you're excluding a whole diverse category of books for what?
Mm.
It can feel a little bit like some of them, like some of their press releases or like nominee lists can feel a little bit like there's the attitude of, if you don't agree these are the best books of the year, you're just not smart enough to get it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge turnoff. And it's not just the literary fiction. Like, I've seen some
No.
genre awards that have this. Like,
100%.
one thing that really gets me every time is when there's like a fantasy award that has, like, the categories are like fantasy and then young adult fantasy and middle grade fantasy. Like, that just bugs me because it feels to me like a very insidious way of being like, adult fantasy is real fantasy. And then
Mm.
everything else is like
Lesser.
fantasy light. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't think they're necessarily intending to write it that way, but there is kind of this assumption that, like, if you say you like a great fantasy book, we're going to assume you mean an adult book unless you tell us otherwise, which is just
Yeah.
like annoying.
I
Well,
appreciate that they can then, like, they've got them on par with the same, like, level
Yeah.
of reader. Fully respect that. But when it's like adult, they should be labeled adult fantasy YA middle grade.
Right. It should
That's all
either
you need to do.
be exactly.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to fix it. It should either not be divided by age, although I feel like probably adult would still have an advantage unless they really made an effort, like, to have people recommend other kinds of books or nominate. They should either have it not be divided by age range or all of them be identified by age range. It just seems
Mm.
like
Yeah.
that's more consistent
Yeah.
anyway. I don't know why they don't do that.
This is real fantasy, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what these people are writing so they can eventually get to adult. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. It's like
aiming up.
even sometimes seeing people talk about like an author that they've loved who's done like, YA fantasy or YA sci-fi or something, and then like just the way people will talk about their first adult release, it very much can have that flavor of like, oh, I'm so glad they're breaking into the real stuff now. Like, this is great. And it's like,
It's graduated. Yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't usually hear that same kind of excitement when it's like an adult author writing middle grade, for
Yeah.
example. I mean, like, sometimes people will be like, oh, I'm excited to see them do something different, but in terms of like the general attitude or excitement, it can kind of feel like it just people don't describe it the same way, At least
Which
not.
I think is like it almost works the other way, doesn't it? Because wouldn't it be harder to write young adult as an adult than to write?
Yeah, it's like there's a quote, actually speaking of Madeline L'Engle earlier, she had a quote that was something like, if I find a story too difficult, I write it for children or something like that. And it's like there's like such a specific set of challenges about writing these really big ideas for kids, and
Mm.
like the ones who do it well do it so well that it's sad that there are still like people out there who assume that it's not good literature because it's like
Yeah.
written for kids or with kids.
Yeah. But there's so many things that we could continue talking. Like, then
I know,
felt like,
don't even get me started on Adrian. Just this always happens with me.
well, and also like from a literacy perspective, like,
Yeah,
why are you assuming that because they're young that they
yeah,
should have
yeah.
topics that are relevant to them?
The last thing, and then I promise I'll let us get back to a sprint, but I just wanted to mention, if anyone else is interested in this or has strong feelings about this, Catherine Rundell's essay, Why You Should Read Children's Books Even Though You Are So Old and Wise, is an absolute masterpiece. It's brilliant. It's really, really short. So, like, this is like one of the only books where it's like I genuinely feel like everybody can and like should read this, like would get something out of it. So, even if you're not convinced on like adults reading young adult and middle grade, like maybe you've heard people talk about that and you're like, I just don't know if it's for me, just try this. It's really good.
I definitely should read that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's excellent. Yeah, C.S. Lewis has a great quote about that too, Jane.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yep.
C.S. Lewis said it best. I mean, some of the things C.S. Lewis said, he said very well. I've just slightly lost where I'm up to. Okay, here we go. I like to read from the book or and such from the long list, but I don't pay a lot of attention to the winner. There's usually some interesting stuff
Yeah.
on the list.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice way to guide your reading and become aware of books, and I'm glad they are becoming more diverse. But
yeah.
It's, look at the long list and see what works for you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They need to have their little arrow thing graphics of
Yes.
what's in the box.
Yeah. I'd love to see like a Booker list with like one of those trope like
Yeah.
because literary books have tropes too. So
Yeah, exactly. That's
I'd love to see that. How subversive.
Steph is good in the middle of running errands while being very tired. Oh no. Poor you. Are you back at school now? I forget when holidays are in other parts of the country. I think
We're
you're
still on holidays, but I can't remember where Victoria is at.
Yeah, I can't remember either. We're in the school holidays at the moment, but I find it a good way to read a bunch of interesting synopses and pick it on. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Booker panel isn't usually yes. Yeah. I like looking at the older Hugo nominated stuff, some really interesting things there.
There are.
Nice. I read the Testaments for new. I couldn't even finish The Handmaid's Tale, so I couldn't read the Testaments. Yeah, that's right.
I've never read it. The Handmaids.
I have read The Handmaids, but it's been a while. I feel like maybe I should go back. I was fine with the ending of the Handmaid's Tale. I don't need a sequel. Yeah, that's how I felt too. Like, I'm fine with books like that end quite ambiguously. I think it works.
Yeah, like if it works for the story, then leave it.
Yeah, exactly. Which book did you love? Sorry, I've gotten lost
The
in
Catherine Rendell.
I think the Catherine Rendell essay. It's fantastic.
Awesome. A children's story that can only be enjoyed by children is not a good children's story in the slight. Yes, exactly. Yeah, we've been back for a week. Yes, I thought so. Yes, exactly right. I read it sometime in the last 10 years, I think, but I mean, I also read so many other books in the last 10 years, so I kind of lost track.
It's probably been about 10 years since I read it. I think it was only once, and I remember thinking it was very good. Like it was, a well done story of what it was trying to do, but I also feel like it's one of those books now where it's like if this is like the only book you recommend that's like, written by a woman or about like women's issues, like
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah.
it shouldn't stand alone,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my go-to.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my go-to for anything, to be honest. Like, I like it a lot, but like definitely wouldn't be like, well, if you want to read about women's issues, you should totally read Margaret Atwood. Like, there are many people I'd suggest.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. We have come to the end of the comments. Shall we do some more sprinting?
Yes. I am gonna hop off and grab dinner real quick, but I'm hoping to be back while we're sprinting. Okay. But if I don't make it, like I don't know how long you're planning on going, so if I don't make it back before you guys wrap it up, just wanted to say thank you for having me on. I've loved this. It's been very productive for me, so this has been great.
Awesome.
But I'll try and come back to before you guys are done sprinting.
Well, I'm definitely wanting at least another 45 minutes. What do you think, Paige?
Cool.
And then, yeah, I guess I'll see how I feel when we're done with that.
Okay, so I probably will see you guys then.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
So let's try something new in the background. What does anyone feel like having in the background?
I do not mind.
I'm just having a look at what the YouTube is offering me. Do we want music or do we just want ambience?
I'm muted, but
you mute it. Okay. So
up to you.
We have Fantasy Cottage, Enchanted Forest, ASMR ambient. It's pretty cute. Let's do that. Let's do some ASMR ambience. I'm just gonna let it do its like intro thingy, and then ambience, please. The night forest one. Oh, hello. Hi, Molly from the UK on night shift. Love the company. Excited for this. Yay! Thank you so much for joining me. That's very exciting. Okay, I'm going to put the screen on. I don't know why I feel the need to like narrate my moves when I'm doing these things. But anyway, all right, there we go. So we're going to be sprinting. I think I said 45 minutes, so that is until 1:10.
Sweet.
All right. Happy reading, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Holy.
Hello. I have like less than 10 pages, so I'm gonna finish and then I'll jump back on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How are you going, Paige?
Good. I've got my second video filmed on top of finishing off my wrap up,
Yay!
and I'm just making some lunch.
Awesome.
I gotta put this stack away.
Oh my gosh, that's a massive stack.
I gotta figure out where I'm putting. Like, I want it on my favorite shelf, but I'm also like, I don't have room.
Tricky.
It is a little bit, but that's all right. But yeah, so I got one video left that I need to film.
Woo! Yay! That's awesome. I don't actually know how much I read. I read about 20 pages.
Nice.
Yeah. And Erin was deep in the edit zone. Nice.
Yay!
27 pages for Amy, 30 pages for Tracy, 50 pages for Rachel and a shower. Woohoo, everybody! I'm always left feeling like, I don't know, I'm such a slow reader. But I am reading a Robin Hobb, so...
Yeah.
50. My concentration is dropping. That's fair. That's fair. I'm actually feeling like I need to get lunch too. So I'm feeling like I might have to call it a day. If that's okay with everybody.
Sounds good.
So yeah, and plus I've got some errands to run this afternoon.
Nice.
So yeah, I think we might say that's the end. But thank you all so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Mel.
If you are new to my channel, then please subscribe. That would be amazing. And if you have not yet subscribed to Cara and Paige, then their details are below. Please subscribe to them as well. Paige is making a very strange face, but she's a very lovely person who you should subscribe to. Anyway, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Oh, nice. Now you can do some reading this afternoon.
Yes.
If your kids are at the skate park. And my video has uploaded, so that's very exciting.
Perfect.
Woo! All right, everyone. Well, yeah, thank you again. I don't know when I'll next be sprinting, but probably next Sunday. And yeah, if Paige and Cara want to join at some other point, we will arrange that.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I will see you next time.
Bye.